Hello, I'm Mickey Allen of Mickey Allen Coaching, and I want to thank you for joining me today for the third installment of my video series, The 7 Pillars of Strong Relationships. 2 weeks ago, we discussed the first pillar, which is love, my favorite. Last week, we covered honor. And basically, to sum it all up in a nutshell, to honor our partner means to give them the respect that they're entitled to as our equal in the relationship. Now, today we will be discussing the third and fourth pillars. And the reason we're going to do that is because these two, while independent, rarely are able to stand alone. And so we're going to go ahead and cover both of those, take a little bit bigger bite of the elephant in this video series of the series. And so let's get started. So the third pillar of our strong foundation for a healthy and functioning and productive, meaningful relationship is going to be self-control. Now remember, I promised you last week that this was going to be painless, and I'm going to try to honor that promise. When we think of self-control, especially in today's society, it really sounds like a bad word. It sounds like a no-no. But what is self-control? Self-control requires that we take responsibility for our own actions. That means that we know that we as autonomous individuals are responsible for our own actions, our own thoughts, our own feelings, our own happiness, the words we say, right? The things that we do in the relationship, we are ultimately responsible. This is the box we live in as an individual. And although we're in a partnership and we're having a rapport back and forth, we are ultimately responsible for our own thoughts, words, and deeds. So, fourth pillar is responsibility. That's why these two go so well hand in hand. What is responsibility? You are going to be committed to having your own sort of system of checks and balances. It means you understand that you're an individual that is in charge of you, and you are going to take responsibility for keeping yourself in check. Again, you see how these two flow together, right? I really like the way that Danny Silk describes responsibility in a relationship. He basically points out that it's a compound word, response and ability. And so basically responsibility in a relationship is the ability to have a response as opposed to having a reaction to a given situation. Someone who is an emotional person is going to react, right? Whether the situation is good or bad, they're most likely to have a reaction, not a response. Someone who is in control of themselves, someone who's practicing self-control and who is being responsible, is going to likely formulate a response to a given situation. Now, I know greatly the difference between these two because I am an emotional person. I know it's hard to believe, right? But my spouse, my husband, is a very rational person. Very rational, Mr. Marine. And he has taught me a lot about how I need self-control and I need to be responsible. More responsible for my own actions and my own thoughts, my own feelings. And we've complemented each other well. But we've both moved towards, he's slightly more emotional, though he may disagree. And I'm a little more rational. But these two complement each other well. And when you can incorporate both of those pillars into yourself, into your own individual box, and then you bring these two partners who are practicing both together, what does that do? How does that help the relationship? Well, I'll tell you. It promotes trust. It shows responsibility. It shows that you're reliable, right? If you've ever been in a relationship with someone who's super emotional and just kind of flies off the handle all the time, you know that they're not necessarily reliable with going to, or, it's not, if you have a situation that you are already trepidatious about going to them with because of their unreliable behavior, it's going to make it that much more difficult to be honest with them and trusting in them. And so when you have two individuals that are practicing self-control and being responsible, there's going to be more reliability, a stronger, more solid foundation within the relationship. It's going to build trust in the relationship, and it's going to make both partners much more confident in the strength of that relationship. That's a good thing. Well, friends, I sincerely hope that you have learned something of value in the first half of this series that you'll be able to use in your relationship going forward. And I would encourage you to be sure to subscribe to this channel so that you will be notified when we launch next week's video, which will be the fourth in the series, and it will be about the fifth pillar of strong relationships, and that is truth. So if you're enjoying yourself, please be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. At least that's what my teenage daughters told me to say. So I really do hope to see you guys next week. I enjoy making these videos, and I love to have you here. Yep, we're rolling. Well, to us, or we, the we in the relationship. I'll try that again. Hi there. No. Okay, for the third, individuals take full responsibility for our actions. That includes our whole life. We promise to you. Of course, now I'm throwing in the word responsibility. Who wants to have self-control and be responsible? I mean, those don't sound like fun, do they?